All right, welcome to another episode of Fake Perspectives. So glad you guys tuned in to share your perspectives and listen to our whack ass perspectives. And we appreciate you watching. If you have any comments or anything, good or bad or whatever, send them on the YouTube channel or whatever. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Till we get some other type of shit set up. So, hope everybody's doing all right out there and healthy and safe and not caught up in a bunch of shit. You know, everything's real expensive and everything now, and we just hope everybody's doing well out there. It's been a while since we did a podcast, and unforeseeable things, and we weren't locked up or anything. You weren't locked up, were you? Oh, that's right. I'm Bueno, and this is Jesus Piñon, right? Yeah. So what have you been doing then in your backyard? You're doing all kinds of projects and stuff. How's that been going?
I planted some corn.
Corn?
Yeah, like last week.
Ancient corn.
I'm starting to sprout, but I don't know. I think I planted it too late.
Really? I don't know. I think you plant corn in the spring. I don't know. I think right now you plant shit like spinach, kale, lettuce, shit like that that'll stand the frost if it even gets that cold. So what kind of stories we got? We're just kind of doing this on the fly, but
Well, what's going on in the news? I don't know. Nothing is going on.
the
What's going on
news.
with Russia. Any updates?
Russia and the updates, they're fucking killing each other. I mean, they say that Ukraine's pushing them all out, and it's crazy because we're involved
How are we involved?
because we're giving them all the weapons.
Ukraine?
Yeah, you didn't know it? We're sending billions of dollars worth of fucking giant howitzer cannons and fucking missile systems and all kinds of shit.
What if they use those against us later?
I don't know. I mean, you feel for them and stuff, but a part of you's got to think, damn, we're releasing a lot of weapons out into the world, And the manufacturers are loving it. And the more shit they make, there's a percentage of that just never gets traced, and it's just kind of sold on the black market and this and that. Our technology, brand new shit, but I don't know, it's fucked up. The only thing I can say is I hope that shit ends soon, no matter what, because just to see people just getting blown up and killed and tortured and shit for months and months. When beginning we thought it'd be what, like maybe a month or so, and fuck no, it's been dragging on all this time.
What war has lasted a month, man? In the past?
None, because wars sometimes are typically always about just taking or
Conquering.
getting an advantage over your neighbors. But the flip side of that is that all countries and nations all over the world have been somebody's or somebody else's and gotten taken by these people and these people all through history. That's just an ongoing thing. You gotta say, oh, this is fucking America, this is Arizona, and it's always
America!
This and this and that. No, it wasn't even that
The
long.
red, white,
This
and
was
blue.
all territory of Spain. It was all territory of Spain, and then it was territory of Mexico, and then we fucking bought it for nothing.
But even before Spain, it was not Spain's territory before that, right?
Yeah, they had all fucking California, New Mexico. They had
And then before that, it was Dinosaur Land.
no, it was
It
Indians.
was Jurassic Park.
Indians for like 10,000 years or so, but before that, yeah, fucking cavemen. And I wouldn't say caveman, but ancient people.
Fucking ancient caveman people rolling over in their graves.
Ancient rolling in their graves, yeah.
Fucking down there breakdancing.
I don't know. I don't know, but hope everything turns out right, and I don't know how you'd say it.
How's the knife making going?
Knife making. We have never discussed that too much on this program, but we're gonna change that. Knife making is, it's going well. I've been doing some small knives, you know, for like girls that are not crazy kill you type of knives, but something you carry in your purse or keep in your jewelry box or something, you know.
Maybe for protection.
Because, well, not so much protection, because the way I do it, I make everything out of wood and the case and everything, and put, you know, some
So when
stones
they-
or something.
So when
make it
they
look a little
snap and
rough.
they want to kill their boyfriend,
Well,
they
it
got
would cut
something in hand.
your dick off. Because they're probably about that long.
Next thing you know, they start calling them dick cutters.
Dick cutters. Go get.
You have the new dick cutters
No, but I got the ones I'm working on and have done.
right there.
Yeah. Talking about knives, I make knives, you know, like on the side and stuff. And the company is GPS Metal Concepts. That's the logo right there. It's not like a big giant operation or anything. It's just something I like to do, and I've just been doing it for, you know, quite a few years here and there, you know. And speaking of that, let's see the progression here. Over all this time, where's that other one? Oh yeah. I was working at a furniture place, and I had access to a lot of machines and stuff during break and all that. And so I thought, well, what the hell? I just get a piece of steel, and during my break, I'm gonna make a knife. So I went and ground this and everything. This was the first knife. It's just made out of mild steel and stuff. But I'm surprised that I've had it all these years through all the junk I've had it thrown in. But I picked up there and I was like, yeah, you know what? It's good to keep things like this or something, even though they don't seem significant. But it's a start of something, or a piece of time that you can kind of go back in if you have an object or something you can really like hold it in your hand. You know what I mean? So the first one's not too flashy, not really great, you know, just mild steel. And this is the second one. This is the one I told you about that I took out in the desert, out in the mountains. See?
Are you lost for a while?
I lost it in the desert. I don't know where. And it was at least, because I had moved apartments since then, it was at least 3 years. And I hiked back over those mountains. And where I lost it was a whole different area, because, you know, and I was in the flat part of the valley when usually I was up on the sides of these mountains. Well, I'm at this valley and I'm just looking. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, summertime. It's hot as fuck, and I'm just looking. Well, no, it's about 4 or 5 o'clock because the sun's kind of going down. I'm thinking about, well, I better head back or I won't get back to the truck before dark. And so I'm looking, and then I for some reason I just looked down at my feet, and I sort of got this fucking knife was right at my feet, laying right flat like this on the ground, rusted and everything. And I almost passed out like, what the fuck is that? How did I fucking stop right here and everything? And it was right there. I couldn't believe it. So I always think of this like as my magic knife, or like the desert or something took it. Who knows what they did with it for 3 years? But I'll be damned if I didn't fucking walk right there and just stood there, and it's like, fuck, you know?
Watch, that's a murder weapon now.
No, no, but if you go out and get away from everything, get out in nature and shit regularly, or, you know, once a month or something, you'll start to get attuned with the type of things that go on out there. And there is a lot of fucking, I don't want to say miraculous, magical type of shit, but there's stuff that you don't think of, you don't realize, but it does happen and stuff, you know, if you're out there, because your mind and your senses are all freed away from the fucking ambulances and the gunshots and the weed eater cars flying by, you know. You're out there, even the ground isn't flat or nothing. So you're totally engaged, you're totally disconnected with everything else. So you want to spend 7 or 8 hours out there and just hike around, and then midway through fucking take a nap. What I used to do was just take a gallon of water, hike out, and when I was about halfway as far as I'm gonna hike, I'd hide the water in a wash or something, right? And then I hike farther. And then on the way back, hey, there's my water, fucking drink a bunch of water, you know, maybe smoke a joint, and fucking lay down, clean out a nice patch of sand underneath a mesquite tree in a wash, take a nap, and just hear all the weird insects and bugs. There's so much shit that makes so much weird noises in the desert, you don't even realize it. But if you're there taking a nap, you know, for an hour or two, it's like, yeah, you know, you feel kind of energized and shit. I haven't done it in quite a while, but to all you out there, hey, get out, and get disconnected like that, because you're hiking on the side of a mountain and shit. It's hard to hike on a mountain and be like this, like a fucking chipmunk with his little fucking
With their
peanut.
phone and shit.
Yeah, like everybody is here, walking down the street, fucking driving, everything, you know. You have it, but you're where you're at is so much bigger than a fucking phone and technology. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway,
What kind of steel do you use for your knife?
okay, these were just mild steel, but then I was fortunate enough at that same place I was working to move into the tool room, and then I was making the knives and setting the heads with knives in them for the planers, profilers, you know, sharpening CNC bits and stuff like that. And so I got a lot of good knowledge of working with high-speed steel, M2 and stuff, making these type of things, knives and everything. And so I was doing, you know, something like this at first before I went into the tool room and learned about steel. And then once I learned about steel and everything, I said, man, this steel, I set this head and they run it for 8 hours running 2x6s, you know, making big old base molding. I mean, 8 hours hitting knots, sometimes nails and shit in the wood, you know.
Yeah.
And the shit barely gets dull, you know. And they bring it in at the end of the shift and we sharpen it up for the next day, you know. And sharpen up for the next day. And I was just seeing, damn, this fucking metal's badass. I wonder if there's a way I can make a knife out of that shit, right? So then I took this piece. This was the third knife I made, but this is out of high-speed steel. See, it's like a stiletto type of thing. I made the handle out of
And is that the M2 steel?
this is high speed. This is M2 steel right here, and I make all my knives out of that because it's super hard. Once it's sharp, it stays sharp. It's like the scariest, sharpest edge I've ever seen on a. And I've been in a knife since I was like 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so this is my third attempt type of thing, right? And then part of my job there was training to do freehand grinding. I had to make knives to run a huge lathe that makes the four posters. You know the beds?
Yeah.
The posts that are on the beds?
Giant post. that
Yeah,
they have.
those giant posts are big square posts that we glue up, and then we sand on all four sides, and then it goes to the lathe department. It goes in this big, huge fucking lathe that's made in the 1920s, right? And there's 5 of these lathes. And the heads are just these giant octagon things with these keyways that hold these knives with just bolts and nuts. Holds a big paddle knife like this, or a hook knife or something. Well, these knives, they have to be hand ground and shaped by hand. And it took like, almost a year to learn it, because you got to be able to hold your breath and everything, and just kind of freehand grinding means you make these knives. You got to make two shapes exactly the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have one on this side of the cutter head and one on this side, and so you're making a knife. You have a template on this table made out of real thick aluminum or masonite, and it's on a table, and you put a light underneath it. It's got a place where you put this long fluorescent light, and you got to make this thing, and it can turn. It's on a big spindle, and you're turning it, and the knife has to come in and start the cut and follow through the cut without letting light through. It had to be that close and not cut the template. You know what I mean? Real precise shit. And you can't have any jumping or anything. You have to have any. Anyway, long story short, that eventually transferred into my knife making, and the place went under, went to China like everybody else. And you know, China makes shit now. We used to make decent furniture, but anyway, when they shut down and went to China, they threw out a lot of machinery, manuals, a lot of replacement parts for all the machines. They just throw it in the dumpsters. And so I took most of the M2 steel. I got that from years, and I got a bunch of it. And I've made a couple knives out of like regular stainless, like regular knives, but I'm just used to the M2, and most knife makers won't use it because it's so hard, and it's hard on your equipment to make it. You know, you can't really. And
Does it last long?
Yeah, it does, but it's hard to work. The metal's so hard and shit. It's hard to work it. I mean, it's hard on your machines and stuff if you don't do it like the way I do it. And then to do it the way I do it, it takes a long time, and nobody wants to do that either. They want most knife makers now. They just
Well, is there any advantage to using this steel on knives? Like,
well, the advantage to me is
for the
I have a
owner of
bunch
the
of it,
knife?
and it is expensive. If you were to go buy it, it's kind of pricey.
Yeah.
The advantage to me is that I've done it enough to where I know how to put just the right edge geometry and everything. And not only that, I know how to buff it and make it super shiny like chrome and everything. It just makes, for me, it represents a badass, it's just like part of the way I do it, the style. Part of it is the M2 steel. I like it. Well, I have it. I'd be open to use the other metals, but the thing with this is it's in a hardened state. So when I'm grinding it, I have a thing of coolant right next to me. So after every couple of passes, I cool it down. I quench it. I never heat it up where it turns black or fucks up the temper of the steel. So it stays in a hardened state. So anyway, from that, I started getting better at it, and all the knives from that period were knives that I sold or made for people in Mexico for ranches and stuff like that. But
For like skinning or
yeah, skinning cows and shit like that. And so now,
what? Any hunting knives?
yeah, I've made lots of hunting knives. I've made knives that's got beer bottle openers on them, on right where the blade ends, you know, for
Uh-huh.
a couple of people in Baja, Mexico. But anyway, so like that, and then so now my grinding is something like this. This is gonna be a purse knife. It's gonna be kind of a large one, but see the grind on that. You know, that's right now. That's my current type of style. Is that it's kind of like a Bowie knife, but kind of like a Tonto blade, but not really. And then this is a false edge up here, but I do a radius on it to make it strong, and not just that, to catch the light and stuff. I do some stuff on my knives, so when I shine them up, they just like a diamond or something, it's little places that catch the light and shine, you know what I mean? So something like this, and typically in the larger knives, I always do some type of decoration on a spine, just that's my style, you know? And something like this, once it's buffed out and everything, all these little things here, I'll grind angles on them, and then when I buff it out, it'll catch light and stuff in there. So this is basically the kind of style that I do now.
Maybe we could put some pictures on Instagram to show the detail.
Yeah, eventually you could put I'm looking at an Instagram account, trying to figure out how it works and the process and everything. But here, see, so like something like this. So one of my first knife was this, right? And this is kind of shit I do now. Look, see,
Damn.
this is just mild steel. Hear it? You can tell hard steel just by clanking it, or I can anyway. You clank it, you can hear that dull steel, right? But if you put M2 to M2, oh, that's because it's long. You know, it's got a harder sound. It's fucking hard as shit, you know. And anyway, this is one of my personal knives right here, and it's got like a little skull carved on the end, you know.
See, this one would be good to put a picture of.
Yeah.
For the detail.
I don't know what I'm gonna put.
That looks badass.
Put my initials on there or what? But look, this is a huge chunk, like a giant chunk of M2, and it's got a real deep concave grind. But imagine, none of this is done with template, because most knife makers now, they say, oh, handmade knives, custom knives. But what they do, they have a computer, they make a generic design on a computer, they send it to a steel supplier, and that guy cuts out 100 blanks with a plasma cutter out of steel, and anneals them or hardens them however he wants them, and then he gets to the shop, and then he takes them, cleans them up, puts it on a belt grinder, you know, a big sanding belt grinder, and just puts it in a jig and grinds them all the same, just a flat grind. And even the grind marks aren't buffed out or anything. They're just like a bush knife, I guess you'd call it, or something. But to me, that's not a handmade knife. When you're making it all out with the CNC and a whole bunch of shit, not that there's nothing against them. They're badass. They make a lot of bad shit, and they want to make a lot of knives and sell them quick. You know what I mean?
It has to be that way. if
Yeah,
that's what
to
they're trying
me, it's more of a, right now at this point in time, it's more of a personal thing to me. It's more like an art type of thing. So when I make a knife for somebody, I wanted to.
do. Well, that is art. That looks
It is
badass.
because it's I don't make two knives the same. You know, I can make them similar, but I don't make two knives the
You
same.
make
And
the holster too? Or?
yeah, and here's one. Check it out. This is like the basic style that I do. Here, I make I make everything, right? And the leather I get from this guy down the street, that a shoe store that makes shoes and boots and shit. So I get it from him to keep money here local. And anyway, see, like that. It's got my initials on the side. This is like a camp knife type of thing, but I like knives so the
Is
handle
that to
fits
fuck
good.
someone up?
Yeah, it could just smash somebody in the head if you wanted to. It's more like an extra steel was here in the back, so I just made that little thing just like I do on the spine here, on that side. And yeah, you could fuck anything up. The thing with this knife is, once you do an edge geometry like that on a thick piece of M2, I mean, look at that, and it's razor sharp. This is gonna cut through any leather jacket, denim jacket, anything in one swipe. This type of edge is I mean, I like it because I don't think I'm a badass or anything. I just like to maintain my original style.
Well, that is pretty badass, man.
Yeah, but
That's it?
check it out. And then yeah, I make the holsters and everything. The first ones I made a few years ago weren't that real good, but every time I do another one, I learn a little bit more. And now they're coming out like this. They're nice, super stiff, real solid.
This is solid.
Because the way I make it, you know, I wet the leather and shape it and all that shit. And not only that, I bind them here and I lace it. But before I lace it, I take 2-part epoxy putty, or epoxy putty, 2-part epoxy, and put a line of it here on the edge. And then I let it dry, and then I sand it all level with the leather and shit. And that just makes it like more powerful. Then I drill out the holes a little bit more because I'll have glue in them after that. And then I lace that shit up, you know. And then I dye it, and then I put the polish on it. And the guy at the shoe store told me how to work the leather and stuff to kind of help me out, you know. So I like it. I could go down there and show him a knife I made or something. Yep, this is leather I got from you and everything. It's like it makes everybody interconnected in a way.
So
And I've never made thousands of dollars on knives or nothing like that. But what the turn on for me is the idea that, oh yeah, one of my knives is down in Michoacan, Mexico. This knife's in fucking Juarez, you know. I got knives in Obregon, Mexico. I got knives in New Mexico. I got a few in California, and Texas. And when I think about it, it's like, yeah, it's kind of like my calling card, but a calling card that lasts, you know?
Yeah.
And this next one I'm working on here is going to be a big fucker. This is just outline. This is how it starts. Piece of M2. And then I'm going to grind it. I'm going to grind the profile, you know, a rough profile. And then I'll start grinding the edge. And I'll use a huge 15-inch grinder. I'm thinking once I put the Instagram, I'll put my shop in there and how I do some things. I never really like to tell people how I do it and shit. I used to always explain it, but not everybody's into knives, and I understand that, you know. But anyway, this is gonna be for a knife for some guy in Obregon, and he's got a bunch of marisco stores, you know, seafood shops all over town.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy's name is Eduardo, and his buddy came up and talked to me, I don't know, a few weeks back, and ordered it. It's gonna be like a kind of kitchen knife. I don't got wide material to make like big fat kitchen knives, but it's gonna be long and kind of it'll be able to use in the kitchen. The thing with them too, you can use it in the kitchen, all that. You just gotta keep the blade clean and dry once you're done. Can't let it wet or it'll get fucking spotty and shit. Because of the hardness, it doesn't have a lot of chromium to be rust resistant like a stainless or something, but stainless is way softer than this.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, yeah, that's gonna be for them. And then I've been developing these little tiny Look at this one. It's like a little fucking mini knife. See? It's made out kind of thick M2, like 3/16, but it's ground, it's polished like that. I'm gonna put some kind of handle, maybe even thin it up a little bit. But this, something like this, I'm gonna fit right here in my hat. I'm gonna make a hat band and somehow have it stay there with a little magnet or something. And then the parties or whatever, I need to cut a taco, grab a line of Coke. Hey, what? Yeah, right here. Shoom. I got my fucking knife hat. I got my sombrero fucking knife. It could be a trend. You know, make them fancy with a little brass handle and shit. Then you never know. Maybe all the Mexicans will want something like that, or flashy kind of hat band. I got way more ideas than I got fucking time or the effort and commitment to do all this shit. But that's why I need a factory. I need a small little factory or workshop with about 2 or 3 people that can do metal work and stuff. Just 2 or 3 people, like Mexicans or something, that just to work on different projects.
Like what kind of metal?
Like metal decorate, like wall art, metal wall art. I want to get into making something badass for people.
Metal art is badass. Yeah.
That's something unique that a family or somebody could have at their business or in the restaurant or their house. Some kind of big fucking I don't know, like a medieval shield thing, but with a brass ribbon, kind of done like it's you know, floating over it, and have it buffed there like all chrome like the knives, and maybe have a sword or a little helmet, medieval helmet or half of a helmet.
What if you made
and then have a light behind it or
the
something?
Iron Throne.
Huh?
The Iron Throne.
What is that?
It's like a throne that's made out of steel, but it looks like it's made out of a bunch of swords or something.
Fuck, that would be very dangerous. Who sits on that? Or you just think that up?
No, that's from a TV show, Game of Thrones.
Really? I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. But this is like a Game of Thrones dagger. It's got these little cuts on it. This could be like a dragon tail type of dagger. Right? Alright.
This is the Iron Throne.
Oh. No, yeah, that's a little bit much. But, no, I mean like wall art that's something where they have their initials or their family name, something that's like truly custom. Not, and I'm not talking metal art like you see online and it's all cut out with a plasma cutter. It all looks generic. All that shit all looks so boring and generic. Every time I see all that shit, it's like, damn, it's like I'm in a Hobby Lobby. You know,
yeah,
all of it's Hobby Lobby look.
Hobby Lobby's pretty cool.
If you're high enough, I guess. But my point is that type of metal art is just generic because you just get your plasma cutter table for $3,000 and then you just put it in a computer and it does the work.
A bunch of them.
Yeah, and you just paint it and say, yeah, I made this out of yeah. You know. Oh, that's cool. Jesus saves.
So they look unique, but then there's a bunch of people with that same unique looking shit.
I want to make not so much like gallery art, like to be exhibited at a fucking art show, but something that's fucking signed by me or something that's something badass. I mean that, or you know what? Giant spears. Well, how come people don't make fucking giant spears out of some badass piece of stainless steel tubing, you know, and then make texture on it like it's wood or something. Make a big ass fucking giant point on it, metal one, you know, ground all badass, you know. Have it welded to it. Maybe even make some metal feathers out of brass or something, buff them out, and then buff the whole thing out all shiny, and just have that on the wall like a display, and have maybe a little light, like this type of lighting inside of it. And then on part of it, just have a little plasma cutter, some cutout design of mountains or a snake or some kind of shit, so it lights up at night, and have it on a, you know, over your big screen TV. And if you can't make it to your gun and somebody's fucking with you at your door, just grab that 6-foot spear, you know, 12-inch fucking blade on the end, you know. Or have those to hang your fucking curtains on as the curtain hangers, big giant fucking Like medieval spears are the ones that have the big axe heads on
You
them.
just take it off and stab it.
Something like that. But that is my true dream, is to have, even to build a fucking shop here on the property or something and do something like that. But I don't know the true mechanics of how to make it work or anything. And
You're trying to
but
make
the
it,
thing to make things happen, you gotta stop making excuses. You
you're trying to
know.
make a dangerous house.
No, but I want fucking shit that's not to look all gothic or something, but my imagination it has that kind of bend in it, or that kind of. It's not.
We should build a castle.
I mean, years back when I was drawing skulls and making shit like skulls, and everybody was like, oh, yeah, you know. And then now skulls are like the thing. Everybody loves them. They're on everything, and you know what I mean. But no, just something badass like that. Or if I had the right type of people helping me, get into making truck accessories for lifted trucks and stuff, custom bumpers or fucking
sweet, yeah.
running boards, shit like that. But badass running boards, not the ones like they put on.
Push bars, maybe.
Yeah, no, but I mean something badass, custom design, not like a giant knife, but like got a big fucking fat tubing, but have like double ones towards the back and have lighting inside and chrome them and just something. Something to create my brand, or something when somebody sees that shit, oh fuck, that comes from JPS Metal Concepts. That's the guy I seen on Big Perspectives podcast. I'm sure all you guys are familiar, and we did an introduction because
Bacanora.
El Bacanoro, he's the patron saint of Bacanora. This is Mexican moonshine right here. Fuck this shit up. And here's this fucking okay, yeah, let's do a show and tell of our shelf that we have back here, because we never explain our shit hardly. Just the Bacanora. And this is an old fucking it's an obsidian. This is an old obsidian. This is not old. It's an obsidian skull from. It's not from Mexico City. It's around that area, but it comes from a mine that they claim that it's a mine where the Aztecs used to get their special fucking obsidian to make the knives to kill people, or special fucking
That obsidian knives.
things. Yeah, that's what they used.
Sweet.
That's what they cut your hearts out with. They didn't have metal knives. Everything was obsidian.
Is that kind of hard or it breaks easy?
It's like glass. It breaks
It
easy,
breaks easy.
but who cares if it breaks? Once it's in you, you're dead. It cuts more faster than steel because there's less
It
resistance.
just would suck though.
It
That
just-
you shank someone, you'd be like, oh, I need a new knife.
No, but they know how to, they put handles and reinforce it. They know how to, it was an art for them. But anyway, this is supposed to come from one of those mines. It's got a like special like clear quartz that goes through, there's lines of quartz that go through it. And it cost me some money, and I waited for it for a long time, but I got it now. And these are just a couple buttons from some of my grandma's shit, old mother of pearl buttons they used to have on shirts and shit. But it's cool sometimes when you got a lot of problems. You could take a piece of obsidian like this and just set it somewhere, just have your hand on it or something, and just kind of, and it kind of decharges you or something. I don't know. I don't want to come across as too weird. This is just a fucking weird ass Jaguar fucking thing that I've had for years.
Some people, when they're distressed, they just masturbate.
Well, yeah, but I mean, after a while, that gets older, and it's like, fuck it. Let's just lift weights and do something. Yeah. Yeah.
Or take a shot.
What else? These, those fucking heads coming off. These are just fucking things to drink out of, you know. They're little goblets, but I gotta reattach them because they come off. But they look cool, and you can drink. It's for Vikings. These are bear things for Vikings drinking mushroom blood and shit out of.
Shit.
All right.
Mushroom has blood?
No, if the Vikings mix that together, they get all
Oh.
weird before they go kill a bunch of people.
Fuck.
Over here, we got the famous Chinese Pinyon monk guy here, right?
Yeah. He's getting shaded.
Yeah, and then we got one of these fucking exclusive fucking clone plants. This plant here is not an autoflower. This plant is a clipping off of a budding plant that has been just planted in the ground. And then it took root, and it's been, that plant's like fucking 9 months old. Look at it. And it's only that big because it was a cutting. And it's just, it's been in like flower mode, I guess. It just grows in the fucking,
It looks like
in the
it's going back
windowsill.
to vegetative.
Well, kind of, it's throwing out leaves, but that thing, just, these are, all you need is 1 or 2 of these in your house, and it keeps it all fucking smelling like weed. Not like real strong, but it's got that tint in the air always. It's a good air freshener. If you got light in your bathroom, get yourself a bud clone and put it in a little shelf. And your fucking bathroom, no matter how much you shit in it, always smells like fucking weed, you know?
What if it kills the weed smell for you? Because you go in there and it smells like shit and weed.
They don't. Believe me, I had 2 of them in there, and it worked out fine. But eventually they do give out and they start to die because they just
Two
get
for
too
the
old.
extra strength?
Yeah. And then next to that, well, I don't know what that is. That's to keep all the chewies. What do you have in there? Fucking crack pipes and syringes, Biden pipes. What is in there?
What the fuck? I don't know.
See what's in there. Oh, it's just little drawers and stuff. I don't know what's in there, but
You never looked in there?
no.
Fuck, what is in bad?
It's got Mother Pro. And you see, and then, oh, we got the big Buddha here. That thing's to hold sake. That Buddha next to you, that white one.
Uh-huh.
He's got a thing on his back, and he's to hold fucking liquor. What I'm gonna do is probably put fucking, I don't know, some kind of, I shouldn't say it on the podcast, but something to open your third eye.
Oh,
Yeah, you know what I mean? Mixed with alcohol.
baby's blood. Yeah. I'm
Yeah, maybe you know. And that's it. And crow feather and this, and so, and you know what? We change it up a little here and there, and it's time to change it by the next time we hope to have a guest on or something, and we'll have this change up, and we'll take the time to explain a little bit of that shit to you.
Hey, you guys could comment what kind of guest you guys want to see.
Yeah, what kind of guest? And this is a guest we got to go out and
Like
fucking
if you guys say like,
capture
oh, we want a Native American.
and stun gun and take him here by force or what?
No, we gotta ask, and then they gotta agree to
Nice.
it.
Yeah, so who wants to come on the podcast? Any of you people out there that want to come check it out? You know.
If you're interesting.
Well, if you value yourself as an individual, you know,
If you're
that's
not,
the
then we
hardest
can
thing.
still just hang out.
Yeah, I mean, we need some a studio intern or something could help out. Why not?
Yeah, we're taking interns to run the camera and
Turns
stuff.
with the interns. And let's see.
And the editing.
And the editing. We're having editing issues now. But this is Jesus Pinon. You've probably seen him at all the comedy clubs and shit. This is a comedian guy.
I've only gone to one.
Only to one?
Yeah.
But you've been there a million times. You're famous there, right?
No.
No?
I've gone there more to watch.
So you're saying you go there all fucked up and just get up there and do your thing and
Talk
you don't
some
remember?
shit, yeah, it's fun.
Oh, okay. So it's a fun thing for you. It's not really like a career move or nothing, right?
No. Maybe one day.
Cops and drugs, Bonshead Plan.
Just something to read?
You want me to read something? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? So we went over GPS Mental Concepts and the vision, kind of an overview of the vision I have for that. You know, maybe there's some way you guys can help me with that, or tell me I'm full of shit, but I'm gonna start putting stuff on the show that I'm making or that's in process or something, and see, you know, because that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing. Not to have be billionaires and shit, but to be happy, interested in what you're doing. You know, that's meaningful to you in some way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
As long as you enjoy it.
Right, exactly. Cause life is short, man. Life is short. Look at all these. We did a bunch of podcasts before. All right. So anyway, like I said, I got a crazy imagination and everything, and so I've been working on this kind of a script book type of thing. I'm just throwing it out there, kind of, and trying to work it out in my head and everything. And so I got. I don't know. I kind of proofread it, but it's not going to be perfect. But I'll guarantee you this: it'll be better than a Biden speech. And and I actually wrote this. I don't have a team of people telling me, right? You're witness to that. I write this shit because only me can be this crazy in his imagination. I had the title for this story for this book, but now I'm thinking of changing it. To something like Ashes of Hope, something like that. It's kind of hope, but not kind of, you kind of realize that hope is only so useful in a lot of circumstances, right?
Yeah.
So, here we go. Ready? And if anybody wants to make a movie or come tell me, I got a lots of imagination. I've thought out the story a million times in my head, and we'll see. So, here we go. It was a midsummer afternoon in West Phoenix. One of the hundreds of birthday parties had just started a couple hours ago. All the standard ingredients were present. Inflatable jumper, ice chest full of beer, a decorated table for presents. The grill was in full production mode, with all the men around the grill, drinking and enthusiastically talking about a boxing match that was coming up on pay-per-view that they were going to watch outside. And what is this? On the other side of the yard was the jumper and the basketball equipment mounted, a basketball hoop mounted on the side of the storage shed, as was the trend back in the day. A few kids were playing, yelling, screaming, and there stood Catalina, a young, standoffish girl, watching at the same time, wondering if being loud and brash is the best way to make friends. The loudest kid of all was an obnoxious and overweight kid, and picked up on Catalina's standoffishness, and just as all loud bullies, he seen an easy target. It started with name calling and escalated from there. Gordo, that's the kid's name, was waiting, hoping for her to break and start crying in front of all the other kids. He finally got the guts to get in her face cautiously. Since Catalina didn't seem to have a child's personality, by now all the kids had stopped jumping, anticipating the crying of Catalina. But they got a big surprise when she punched him square in the face. He hit the ground, hit the dirt, and he started crying like a stuck pig. The adults got involved, of course. Everyone believed the all-precious Gordo that Catalina was crazy and attacked him. Nonetheless, the party went on, with Gordo sitting on the couch with 2 bags of frozen vegetables on his face. And on the other side of the room sat Catalina, just staring at the wall. The adults were talking about her in the kitchen. Nobody once asked Catalina what happened. The women were at first voicing their opinions and possible solutions to Catalina's mom. She was embarrassed, and that's all that seemed to concern her. her mom was embarrassed, right? From being kept her, oh yeah, that seemed to concern her, and how she could keep her other two kids, Catalina's brother and sister, from being contaminated by their sister and cause more embarrassment. Her dad seemed okay with what happened, but Catalina knew that soon her mom, being the egotistical bitch, would soon impose her views of her daughter on him, on her dad. Her father had been deballed by her mom years ago. Eventually, the talk of child psychologists was taking place, slowly involving Catalina. Like that. And then I'll read the next one the next time. That's the introduction. Sounds kind of corny, huh?
So
It
chick
sucks,
was getting
huh?
picked on and she fucking punched.
Well, this is the start of a long ass series. This is just like the start of the story, where the perspective of this girl, because then she grows up, her parents like, oh, what are we gonna do? We're gonna put her at this place. She's at this, with these people for a few years, and then her life takes off in different directions. You know what I mean? But this is just a start. This is just setting how her relationship with her mom and dad, and how it kind of started from the beginning of like, oh yeah, she's got mental problems. We need her on medication. She needs to have take her to the church and have an exorcism done on her. And really, she's really just probably got.
Seems like she dealt with the situation the right way.
Well, she knows she's kind of bipolar, but I think she's just, she hasn't experienced genuine friendship or love or anything, you know what I mean? And so, other things come to the forefront. And when you don't have caring and love and shit like that when you're growing up and it's just something else, then your life takes off in I won't say a bad direction, but definitely different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So from here, she'll go through psychiatrists and go through all that bullshit and pills and everything, and then from there, her parents see an opportunity to get her help, but at the same time, this type of help is just sending her away and having her live in a fucking
Somewhere else.
far off fucking ranch with some other people and then once they're out of her hair, they'll just give those people money or whatever and keep them out of their hair. So her other two, her brother and sister, can grow up and be the normal kids that their mom can be proud of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sucks, huh?
What the just what you read from?
Yeah.
It's not much to go off of.
Huh?
Because it seems to me like she did what was normal.
No,
Someone gets in your
this
face
isn't a
and is trying to
criticism
make
of
you
her.
cry,
This
you
is
punch
just
them in the face.
It's just an account of events. How in the beginning, even when she was this age,
But it's
she
weird
was
how-
different than other kids, but because her mind is kind of different. Not because she's got autism or super bipolar or anything.
Well, so far from the story right now, it just seems
This
like,
just tells you her
like they're
temperament.
just treating her differently.
This is the temperament type of thing, yeah. And if you do that, then how she'll be open to whatever comes her way, or she knows, that she's not gonna be one of the family ever type of things. It's her kind of, at this young age, she's kind of got that feeling, you know what I mean?
Already.
Yeah. And the mom's just worried about what all the friends and family and say, and oh, you got a fucking kid who's fucked up in the head and this and that,
Damn.
But believe me, the stories after this is just setting this thing, and this is like a rough draft. This is by no means is something, oh yeah, this is perfect. I got, half of this novel done and, like this. Because I haven't done this before, but I had this kind of story or imagination in my head of writing a book or something, but I see it kind of in a form in my head like a Netflix show or something. I see the different scenes and the
Like you're gonna have
backstories,
like a crazy
and I
life.
play with that shit in my head so much. And not scenes that I've ever seen, but original type of shit that hasn't happened in movies or nothing.
So she's gonna have kind of like a crazy life, kind of.
Oh yeah, big time, big time.
Yeah, those are good.
Very crazy. And not, but doable. And she accepts it as her life. And just like always, when parents give up on their kids when they're small, they always regret it once the kids are grown and the parents are old and shit. You know what I mean? And it definitely be doing that in this case. So there's that. What do you people out there have interesting to say, or what do you think we should be talking about? Shoebox full of Rikishi mushrooms? Right? What else? That's the worst thing we could say on a podcast, huh? What else? Tell me some UFO shit. You're supposed to be the UFO king, commentator.
UFOs retired.
They didn't
No longer in the
retire.
sky.
Yeah?
He said sorry.
They got tired of Starlink and all the rockets going up. They said, fuck this.
They're like, we're not gonna put on a show for free because everyone's like, oh, look at this puppy.
Okay. I get that. UFOs. How much time do we got on there? I mean, on the. That's enough to get, because we got half done already, remember?
Yeah, we still have stuff on there. It's probably filling up now.
Okay, let's shut it down then. So you won't be rushing. All right. Hey, appreciate everybody coming and checking us out, and we hope everybody out there is doing well and going good for you. You all stay safe, and remember to have individual type of views. Be an individual, you know. Take pride in yourself.
And
And
hopefully next time we'll have a guest too.
oh yeah, we're gonna work on a guest, and we're not gonna bring him in by force. He's gonna come here on his own free will, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Probably, but yeah, we'll have a guest because guests are interesting, right?
Yeah.
All right, until next time, we'll see you. Big Perspectives out.